Fabrics will help you get it done fast. With a huge variety of metals in stock, we can help no matter what job comes your way. And we cut to size. Because just like taxes and BS, we think metal is better when cut. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Find a store or shop online at metalsupermarkets.com.
Oh, hey.
Hey, thanks for meeting me here. It's just, you're my only lawyer friend, and I need your professional opinion. You see that brand new Hyundai Tucson out there? That's all I paid for it.
Let me get back to you on that.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on all Hyundai Palisade, Santa Fe, and Santa Fe hybrid models. And check out our other great deals at your Hyundai dealer today. Offer ends September 2nd. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Fabrics.
Fabric Talk. Hello, my love. I am your living room carpet. I see everything. I feel everything. After a while, I smell like everything, including Sir Pickles, who you snuggle with while binging that dating show you can't stop watching. So, how about we freshen things up with Febreze Fabric Spray? Oh, and a big spray for my pals, couch and ottoman. Ah, yes, refreshing. Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
From the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center, don't worry about me. I called ART.
Traffic
update here on the Thursday morning commute. A little bit of slow-moving traffic on the southeast side at K15 and MacArthur, but not too bad. Traffic for you this morning. Traffic from 98.7 and 1330 KNSS in the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center. I'm Ted Woodward.
weather.
From Team 12, we're kicking off your morning mild and quiet, but get ready for more heat and humidity later this afternoon. A high of 98 could feel more like 105 degrees with the heat index. With those mostly sunny skies, gusty winds from the south still gusting up to 30 at times. That will bring some relief to the heat, but we will rinse and repeat heading into Friday, although Friday likely going to be our hottest day so far this year. A high of 99 degrees. We may go for 100, but either way, feel like temperatures in the low 100s, and that will continue to the weekend, but we will see thunderstorm chances likely returning heading into Sunday night, as well as some cooler temperatures. That's your forecast from Storm Team 12. I'm meteorologist Halen Woolheim.
Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH Wichita, KNSS HD2 Clearwater, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Hey Wichita, it's Jacob Albrock. Stay right there for the latest breaking in sports talk. It's Sports Daily, coming up next exclusively on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. Absolutely nothing worse than trying to play and listen to a broken record or to continue to beat a dead horse. You probably already know exactly where I'm going with this. That's right, to the Dallas Cowboys, America's sideshow, because their carnival barkers are at it again. This time, Stephen Jones is pushing back hard on the rap that the Cowboys drag out their contract negotiations. He says it's just not true. Right, Stephen, what's next? The sky isn't blue? You don't drag out contract negotiations. I'm sure that's news to Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Ezekiel Elliott, and Emmitt Smith. Hell, anybody with half a brain. You don't drag out contract negotiations. That's exactly what you do, exactly who you are, and exactly where you live, and exactly what you're known for above all else. Well, that and not playing in or winning anything that matters for more than 30 years now. But whatever works for you, Steva. I'm Jim Rome.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone.
For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensate for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrock and Tommy Kester.
Hey there, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday to you here on Sports Daily. Glad you're with us on a Thursday morning. Thanks for tuning in on KFH over the air. Thanks for watching us on 12 News Connected, Facebook or YouTube or X or all the places that you take in the show, the Odyssey app, the iHeartRadio app. We appreciate you each and every way that you jump on board with us. Jacob Albrock here alongside Tommy Castor. Max Power producing for us. We got a good show for you today as we continue to rev the engine toward football season. We'll go through some storylines. Travis Kelce speaking from Chiefs camp yesterday. We'll get you ready for K-State football today. Tim Fitzgerald, our K-State Insider, hops on board with us as well. Talk some Royals, of course, as they survive it. Now going into an off day, we'll sort of reset the table for them coming down what I think we could call the home stretch here. It's all What's on Tap, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company, featuring free mini homemade root beer floats with any kids' meal purchase through Friday. A limited supply of WBC keepsake mini mugs will be given out, so hurry in today. WBC, it's pizza and root beer made here. Tommy, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Happy Thursday. Good to see you today. We've got a lot to get to on the show. It's a busy one today. And I think really, I know we'll focus a lot on the Royals and the fact that they were able to salvage that series last night in Boston. And now we shift to a little bit of an easier stretch in their schedule. So looking forward to getting into that and everything NFL related on the show.
Yeah, the Royals have an interesting rest of the way here. You know, thankfully to end this road trip, Minnesota's kind of waved the white flag a little bit, but you get a stretch of 9 games that become pretty critical because the teams that you're playing aren't very good. They have it kind of about half and half here the rest of the way. And so we'll see how they approach that. And we'll kind of take it step by step. They are currently 4 games behind the Yankees for the last wild card spot. The Guardians continue to not go away. Texas has heated up. And, Detroit has lost a couple. So whether you think it might be the wild card or whether you think the 8.5 games that are in play against Detroit with 6 to go to them head to head, it's pretty, we're right up against the edge here. 1 game under 500 after that trip, but we'll reevaluate things there. Travis Kelce talking from Chiefs camp yesterday. You can kind of see it. Looks a little different. Asked about last year. Doesn't want to talk about last year. So there's plenty going on, and we get ready for the beginning of the preseason, and games are going to start getting underway. There's quite a few things in this first game. They only play 3 preseason games now, which kind of amplifies the way that things are set up. By the way, if you want to win some golf, Tommy, let's do this I like doing this off the top yesterday. Let's do it again off the top. Swing 365. We're just going to make this right turn on you here. If you want to go and check out the indoor simulator that everyone's talking about over on the east side, we're going to get you a free week to Swing 365. It's a facility that you go in. It's private. It's sort of like a club, a membership. You pop in there, you set up your time, you go in, you got the whole thing all to yourself. And it's the simulator that all the pros play on in that professional league that you might see on ESPN occasionally. So it's Swing 365. You can text the word swing to 20357. That's swing to 20357 right now and get your chance at a free week of access there. You can enter once per day, message and data rates apply. We're going to do one of these a week here for the next little bit, Tommy.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talking about this great simulator, brand new, opened up over on the east side, and I'm excited that we have the opportunity to give away a free week of Swing 365. Our buddy Eric Johnson, who owns Swing 365, I believe we're going to try to have him on the show tomorrow. He's out at the St. Jude FedEx Classic, which is the opening round of the FedEx Cup playoffs on the PGA Tour. So he's there this weekend. And so I believe we're going to try to connect with him tomorrow to get an update on the golf and on the leaderboard and all of that. Sam Stevens is in the playoff hunt and all of that. So I believe we're going to be talking to him, but he owns Swing 365 Golf, and he's been gracious enough to give us a few free week-long memberships. So again, just text the keyword swing to 20357 for your chance to win.
Yeah, I noticed you didn't try to say Thring Swee 65. Like
you're having a difficult time getting through that. Yeah.
Thring Swee 65.
You having a stroke? Oh, I hope you're not having a stroke.
Let's hope not. I don't think so. So correct me if I'm wrong. Speaking of the FedEx, it's just Sam Stevens, right? Hadwin, Goodland, not in there.
Woodland.
Woodland, I mean, sorry.
I think he snuck his way in. I'm pretty sure he had a good enough finish last week that he is.
I don't see him on the leaderboard.
He's in there. He's in, I believe.
I don't see him on the leaderboard. So explain then.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, he did.
But if you're not there, like on this FedEx, if you're not playing in this FedEx, you're not in the FedEx Cup, right?
Correct. Yeah. So they take the top 70 golfers, I believe, from the year. And then that's the cutoff. And then after that, that you're done for the year. Like you don't get to compete in the playoffs. And he was 75th. So he was in the running. Last week's Wyndham Championship, I think at one point was in like where he had finished like round 3. He needed to have another really good round to be able to finalize it. And he fell off, I think, a little bit and just missed out. So it's Sam Stevens. He's the main one we follow that is in the FedEx Cup playoffs.
Scotty Scheffler is your leader. Sepp Straka is number 2 right now. So then do they continue to whittle this down as we go?
They do. So I believe it goes over 3 weeks, and it goes from 75, I believe, to 50. And then I think 30 is where the final one. And it's not
like the standings of this golf tournament. It's where you sit in the FedEx Cup.
Correct, but each tournament can play into your overall standings. So right. Like if you're in 50 to 70, you've got to try to play well enough this week to move yourself up to get into the 50 and knock somebody else out.
Sam Stevens in his great year right now, by the way, sits at 28th. So, the goal will be just to have some good golf tournaments, and we'll see if Wichita Stevens can stay alive in this thing. 100-1, by the way, to win this weekend. And he tees off today at 8:40, I believe is the tee time. So good luck to Sam Stevens. And we'll see if he can get it done and just stay alive. And that's what we'll watch. I'm glad Eric's going to be out there. Yeah, we'll talk to him tomorrow and get the latest. The FedEx Cup, I love the idea of it. I think it was a good change for golf, but it's not something that I've been able to follow along. Sam Stevens will give us that opportunity, so we'll do that. Looking forward to that. We have other NFL headlines to get out to. There's more drama with Mike Parsons, Stephen Jones. You heard in the Rome report, sort of talking a little bit. Parsons is out there practicing. We still don't have a Terry McLaurin resolution at this point yet. I don't think we have a Trey Hendrickson resolution yet, other than he just decided he's going to go be a good teammate, basically, and just tough it up and see what happens. But those are the 3 big contracts we're watching. We don't also have the insight quite yet into what the Chiefs are going to do in the opener. We can guess at that a little bit, discuss what we feel like we need to see, and then we'll get you some of what Travis Kelce had to say yesterday as well. So it's all coming up. Here we go. When we come back, we'll start with the Royals, though. It is the day off. They finish the first part of the road trip, and it was the gauntlet, and they finish at 500. Was that good enough? Certainly needed the win yesterday. We'll discuss all of it when we return on Sports Daily.
Hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
This is Rich Eisen. Check out The Rich Eisen Show, 11 until 2 on Wichita's #1 sports station, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
to the sports talk.
All right, let's do this thing. Go!
Sports Daily is on KFH.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. If you want to win a trip to see Zach Brown Band, Love and Fear, live at Sphere Las Vegas this December, including a 2-night stay in a suite at the Venetian Resort Las Vegas, the only hotel directly connected to Sphere. It's easy to enter the national contest to win a trip to the show. Just download the Odyssey app, listen to KFH for at least an hour. You can learn more at odyssey.com/Zach, thanks to the Messina Touring Group. Welcome back into Sports Daily here. The Royals get the win. They snap the Red Sox 7-game win streak. They survive it. This felt like a survival series. We said that before it started, and it certainly felt that way. Just the way the pitching matchups fell, the way Boston was playing, all of that. They survive, I guess you could say, Tommy, the toughest part of that road trip by splitting with Toronto and Boston. And while it would have been nice to end at a game over 500 instead of a game under 500, honestly, I think we take it. That was a rough stretch of games right there. And it only, you only feel good about it if the Royals now take care of business over the next 9 and win. I mean, it's going to have to be, look, we got to be crazy. It's going to have to be like 7-9. If they're going to make up the ground, they have to win at that clip against these bad teams.
Yeah. I mean, I think that you can, feel pretty good if you finish this next 9-game stretch at, I don't know, 6-3, 5-4 even. I mean,
5-4 is not going to be good enough. They won't make the playoffs.
I get it. I understand. And you're running out of games. You're running out of games to make up ground. I get all of that. But I do think that, I think last night's game showed the resiliency that this club has. And I'm probably coming at this a little bit with rose-colored glasses on and being a little bit more glass half full than anything else. But the Red Sox jumped out to a 2-0 lead in the first inning. And you're like, here we go again. Michael Wacha, who was stellar the last time out, giving up 2 runs in the first inning. And you're like, man, like this seems like a repeat, and maybe the Red Sox just have the Royals number in this series. And there was some resiliency there for the Royals. It took a minute. It took a minute for the offense to come around. It wasn't until the 3rd and the 4th that they were able to get a couple of runs up on and then ultimately take the lead and then extend it from there. But it was, it was a battle for the Royals. I thought that there were some interesting changes that Matt Quatraro had in last night's game for the finale. I thought it was interesting that Jonathan India didn't lead off and Yastrzemski did. I thought it was interesting that both of those guys had pretty successful nights at the plate in new lineup spots. And Yastrzemski leading off and India, he batted 7th last night.
Yep.
And India had 3 RBIs. He was 2 for 4 on the night. And so I wonder if that's the recipe moving forward for the Royals. If we'll see India right back in the leadoff spot moving forward.
I suspect he'll be right back in the leadoff spot, but maybe not. We've talked about it. I mean, he's okay there, but he's not what he normally is, and he's having a bit of a down year. Maybe shaking it up a little bit will be good for him. The one thing I'll say about that series is all throughout it, they never rolled over. Like they got themselves back into all of the games, and I do think that matters. But here's what I mean about 7-2 and why at some point they have to, put the foot down. By my count, Tommy, and they have 9 series left this season against teams like that, right? Against teams that are in the playoff hunt right now. That's kind of the criteria. Like teams that didn't sell at the deadline that still feel like they have a shot. 9 of those. They only have like 6 against these bad teams, like teams that sold, teams that aren't any good. So to me, like they're going to have to try to continue to probably go about 500 against those good teams and probably a little better than that against certain ones, right, that they're chasing. But against
I don't like that strategy, to be honest.
No, but what I'm saying is against these bad teams, though, they've got to throttle them or they're not going to make it because they're not going to throttle all the good teams. We've seen 100 and something games this year. The Royals aren't going to play those 9 series against these good teams and win 70% of those games. That's not going to happen. But it almost has to happen against the bad teams. And then you've got to try to just make your way through those tough series and beat the right teams at the right time.
Yeah, my problem with that philosophy is that you need to beat the bad teams. I don't disagree with you there, obviously, but the problem with that philosophy is you could be phenomenal against those bad teams, and it may not improve your standings in the wild card at all because you're not going head to head against teams that are ahead of you in the wild card or in your division for that matter. Like you might gain some ground, but you could win all these games against teams like the Nationals and the White Sox and other ones that you're playing moving forward. And that doesn't necessarily guarantee that you move up in the wild card standings. If you beat the teams that are ahead of you in the wild card standings head to head, they might be good teams. They certainly are. They're playoff contenders. That's the best way to control your own destiny.
Sure.
To be able to find your way into the wild card race. So I think the philosophy needs to be, hey, look, guys, there should be an expectation that we beat teams that are worse than us. But as opposed to just kind of limping our way through these series against the 9 series coming up with teams that are ahead of you, we need to do better than that. We need to put more emphasis on those games and try to make sure that we're winning series like we did against the Blue Jays and other, series like that, the Guardians and whatever. We've got to make sure we're doing that moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, those teams are going to play each other because there's enough of them. But I think for me, and we'll, obviously when they play the Tigers, we're going to put a lot of emphasis, or when they play a team that they're directly trailing. But the chances are they're going to go 2-1 or 1-2, and it'll be the difference of a game. So what I've kind of tried to start to do, and again, look, we realize, everybody listening, all of this is a long shot, right? The Royals now through 115 games are a game under 500. But if we just go back to last year, and the final wild card spot last year was the Tigers at 86 wins. So if you want to play it safe and say, and the Royals got in with 86 wins last year too. If you want to play it safe and say they're going to need 87, right now they would need to go 30-17 to get there down the stretch. And I do think 87 wins probably gets you there. So 30-17, what does that mean? I think at the end of the day, like because there are still so many teams in it, that it almost is just the Royals against themselves. Can they get to this number? Like if they get to 87 wins, let's call it, and they don't get there, they're going to have done everything they can do, because going 30-17 is going to be a tough stretch of baseball down the stretch. But in order to get there, to me, it's just reality. They have to pile up wins in these games they play against these bad teams. They have enough of them where they can do that. What did I just say was 6 series? That's roughly 18 games. So, if you can make major headway and beat up, that's how the Royals made it into the playoffs last year. They beat the crap out of bad teams, and then they kind of just treaded water against everybody else.
And before anybody says that the Royals, it's unlikely that they can go 30-17 down the stretch, they had a similar winning percentage in the month of July. They were 15-9 in the month of July. They did it in the month of July. They just have to
keep it up. Yeah.
They just have to keep that up. And they're playing 500 baseball so far in August. So they don't have to, catch up or anything like that to get to that point. So just duplicate what you did in the month of July.
That's
and
right.
I would argue that their schedule in July was tougher than what is up ahead of them moving forward.
Well, it is. And that, the thing is, and I guess that's to my point. Like, yes, what you did in July, and so August was a 500 start, but I mean, that literally August 1 was when the Toronto series started. I feel good. I think I feel good that they were able to go 500. You go Minnesota, Washington, White Sox next. But then after that, Tommy, you've got Texas, you've got Detroit, you've got another Detroit, you've got the Angels, you still got 4 at Cleveland, you've got to go to Philadelphia, you've got Seattle, Toronto, and the Angels again. So there are a lot of tough games down the stretch. They need, if they don't win a bunch of these next 9 games, they're not going to make it. I think we're to the point of the season now where the hard thing about baseball is any team at any point can do what they did in, what month was that? May, where they go like 18-2. And you're like, oh, well, there you go. And this team's certainly capable. They're built now. Look at that. Yesterday, it was funny that it took us this long to get to it. But yesterday, and they were talking about this on the radio. I was listening to the game right here on KFH yesterday. They were trying to come up with the nickname, right? Remember, it used to be HGH, the back end of the bullpen.
Yeah.
They're like, do we call it HEE? That doesn't really roll off the tongue. They were joking around about it. But they're like, the reality is, and at the time, before the Royals piled up some runs late in the game, they're like, this is the first time really since maybe the very beginning of the season that a game has lined up for them, a tight game into the 7th inning where they're trying to protect a lead. And sure enough, like you that's what you want. And you want Harvey and Ursig and Estevez. And they were 3 innings clean. Well, not clean. Ursig gave up a run, but it was fine at that point. So I went back. Are we all realizing how good Hunter Harvey's been this year, Tommy? He's appeared in 11.
He's been really good.
His ERA is a dazzling 0.
Yeah.
His whip is about a 0.5. And he has been totally clean in like 7 of his 11 appearances. Had a walk in one of them, or it'd be 8 of 11. He has been insanely good this year.
Yeah, I'm really trying to not get my hopes up and expectations up with him, just because he's been phenomenal when we've seen him.
Right.
He
kind of struggled last year. I think he was hurt, but
I'm hopeful that the durability is back for him. And
holy cow, he's been
because
good.
Let's be completely real about this. If the Royals are able to find their way into the playoffs, they absolutely have to have him in the back end. They have to have him help.
They are so lined up for playoff success. I mean, you hate that Bubic, and look, no matter what happens this year, I think I will probably look at it as a success because you had the maturation of Garcia and Bubic before he was hurt. They've done all this without Reagans essentially the entire year. Now Bubic has been hurt. They made all the trades that help them next year. But even with all these injuries, with that back end of a bullpen, with Salvi and Bobby Witt Jr. in the middle of your lineup and starting pitching that's deep, it's not as top heavy as some of these American League teams. Like the Red Sox, for instance, would you not want to match up with in the postseason, or the Rangers when they can go DeGrom and Evaldi. But there are a lot of reasons to like the Royals if they can get there. Now, again, they have a mountain to climb. It's going to be really tough. It's going to be really, really tough. But it's interesting. And I think they're a really fun team to watch right now. And we talked about this, I think, yesterday. Like, it's so refreshing to not have them get down 1-0 and think the game is over. Like, that sucked.
Yeah.
That was not fun. And it's not the case anymore. They scored runs late in all 3 of these games in the Boston series.
I think you can take a look moving forward from a big picture view. I think you can look at this with a little bit of a poker analogy. I know you're a poker guy. It's like when you're playing a hand of poker and, every time you get the river and the turn and like all of that, depending on your hand, you have multiple outs, right? Depending on the way it all pans out. I think right now, for a while, the Royals' only out was to sneak their way into the back end of the wild card. Like, if you could get the final wild card spot, that was basically it. Well, Detroit has stumbled a little bit, and there might be an opportunity to catch up in the Central. That might creak the door open a little bit to have another out. And so I think you kind of have to look at it a little bit from that analogy. Like, how many outs do the Royals have to be able to find their way into the playoffs? And if it was solely and only the 3rd wild card spot, and that's it, and there's nothing else that we can look for, it'd make it that much more difficult. But if they could make the AL Central competitive, they're not that far away. It's going to be a tall task, but it's not impossible. And I think that should provide a little bit more hope, as we look at the next 50 games or whatever for the Royals.
Well, it's the right one to start with, probably, because you have 4 games against Cleveland still and 6 against Detroit. One thing about this schedule that's not, look, it depends. Whether you think they have a tough or an easier schedule kind of depends on what you think of the Angels, because they have 6 games against them. They're technically a contender. If you buy into the Angels in any capacity, then that is who they're only like a game behind the Royals, or maybe 2 games behind the Royals in the wild card, game and a half. So if you don't think they're any good, then you really like the schedule going down the stretch. But the reality is, as you know, some of the difficult games mixed in are at Philadelphia, doesn't impact anything head to head. I don't think Toronto is going to affect anything head to head. They still have another series with them. They do have a series against Seattle that could come into play. They do have a series against Texas that could come into play, but that's it, right? That's basically it of the teams, depending on what you think of the Angels, that are going to be in that wild card mix. Well, Cleveland, but to your point, you get 10 games against teams you're playing within the division that you've got to chase down. So yes, when push comes to shove on this deal, those are the games we're going to put under the biggest microscope. What do they do against Detroit in those 6 games? But again, the problem with that is if you go 6-2, what did I say? They have 6. If you go 4-2, you've made up 2 games. That's not going to be enough. You'd basically have to sweep them twice for that probably to be enough, which is possible. So that's where I get to, like, let's just see if they can get to 87 wins. Let's just put a number on it. 87 would have been enough last year. Let's just kind of start a little timer to 87 and see if they can get to that number, no matter how the wins come. And in order to do that, you've got 9 games here. This is the time to get on one of those just white hot streaks is right now in these 9 games to get that train headed down the station. But man, if they go 5-4 over 9, it's not going to happen. They're not.
I do think that the win last night going into the off day, crucial for the Royals. Like, you can't have an off day and after getting swept by the Red Sox and feel good about where the Royals stand. 2 games under 500 at that point, and like you feel like you had a few really good series. They won 4 series in a row, and then all of a sudden you get swept.
Yeah.
And that leaves a bad taste in your mouth going into the weekend. So it's crucial, so essential that they won that game last night.
Had to have it. Had to have it. It's nut cutting time. Here we go. Like, let's get after it. I think it's going to be a blast. I wish there wasn't a day off. I'm ready to just keep the train rolling, but there are good signs within the game last night. You mentioned India. We mentioned the back end of the bullpen. The back end of the bullpens is, to me, maybe the key to all of this. Good to see him get a day off, and everyone else just keep the train rolling here. How does it? Let's look at this. Let's look at the. They will catch Joe Ryan. That kind of sucks. But it's against Seth Lugo, and then they get Lugo and Cameron in this series against Minnesota. So go take 3 and at Minnesota.
I want to clarify. Did you say nut cutting time?
I did. You not heard that term?
I don't think so.
Really? You haven't heard that term?
Not to my knowledge.
Max,
can you explain that?
Well, there. It's. The Google and I'm just time to exert maximum effort. Approaching a deadline or looming competitive situation.
Okay.
Drastic actions are required because all other methods have failed. It's used a lot in sports and politics. I'm trying to look up
time. Okay, good to know.
I'm trying to look at when I assume it comes from literal like castration of bulls into steers. Like, it's nut cutting time. Like, we got to get after it here. But I don't know. I guess I don't know the roots of it. But yeah, that's a term. It's a thing. We'll come back. It's not cutting time on Sports Daily. We're gonna hit the ground running right after this.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
This is Rich Eisen. Check out The Rich Eisen Show, 11 until 2 on Wichita's #1 sports station, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
8310 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Welcome back into Sports Daily, everybody. You want to win some iced tea on us? You can do that right now by texting the keyword tea, TEA, to the short code 20357. That'll get you a free cup of iced tea at any of the Wichita Metro locations, east or west or in Derby. And while you're in there, make sure to try out the new fizzy refreshers, the energy refreshers with a little carbonation in them. Desert pear, lemon lime. These are very, very good. So get you a free cup of tea. Maybe grab one of those refreshers on your way out as well. And good luck, everybody. Message and data rates apply. You can enter once a day. All right, we come back in, and we have been talking some Royals here on the show. Tommy, I can't believe you didn't know what nut cutting time. I cannot believe you never heard that term.
I mean, I had a general idea. I just wanted to hear you explain it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's quite literal in its roots. You've I almost just went down the making fun of Tommy again for the snip road. What's that?
Yeah,
surgery called?
that was a long time a vasectomy. That was
Vasectomy.
that was a little over a year ago. That was a while ago.
One of the great times of my life was the 2 hours we gave Tommy a hard time for his nut cutting time. But we'll just roll right on through here on Sports Daily. I want to get into the Chiefs, but I want to give us a full segment in the next hour. Tim Fitzgerald is coming up in the hour as well. Let's hit some other NFL storylines here. Have you seen the Matt Stafford stuff? He's got a bad back. How high are you on the Rams? I don't recall because I'm pretty high on the Rams.
Yeah, I'm mediocre on them. I'm kind of lukewarm. I think they'll be fine. They're usually fine. But I certainly don't put them as high in the NFC, I think, as you do.
Yeah,
I don't have them winning their division this year.
I think they are 100% an NFC contender. I think they are really good. They got better offensively by adding Devontae Adams, and they took off like wildfire on defense last year. But this Matt Stafford injury is worrying me quite a bit here, Tommy. Like a bad back for a guy his age. They're trying to say everything's going to be fine and he'll be ready to go. But even if that's the case, if you're dealing with a bad back now, I mean, look, you want to take a local comparison. Look at Jalen Daniels and what he has struggled throughout his career. And like, I think that gets amplified. Look, it's worrisome that that's the case. And it makes me wonder, like, should they be picking up the phone and calling on Kirk Cousins or somebody like that? Like they can't let what could be a Super Bowl contending year fall on the hands of a bad back of an older quarterback.
Yeah. Was that a question? I mean,
I absolutely call Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, no, I absolutely think they should call Kirk Cousins. I think that there should be some team should call Kirk Cousins. I'm shocked that Kirk Cousins is still just hanging out on the bench.
He's got that big contract. I don't know. Cousins doesn't, I'm sure he'd rather be in LA as a backup than Atlanta as a backup because he'd be back with McVay. He's got connections too, back from the Washington day. Maybe it's a nothing burger, but this is the first one for me, even with all the Chiefs injuries and stuff that they're dealing with and situations. This is the first one that could be like seismic shifting to me this year in the NFL. I think the Rams are Super Bowl contenders. I mean, certainly they would not be if Matt Stafford was hurt. It just is. This is the first one where we're in like danger zone already for one of these contending teams.
Yeah, the problem with where, his injury is that he's dealing with, it looks like a sore disc or a bad disc in his back. That sort of thing can linger on and on and on and on. I mean, when you're needing epidurals and that sort of thing, it's pain management. Yeah, number one, but I know that the Rams are saying he should be ready to go for week number one, but this is something that could linger throughout the entire season. It's hard for me to think that, he's just going to magically be 100% by the time week one comes around. He could be less than 100% and still play, but at that point, you're limiting his mobility. He's already up there in age, and you don't want to have a situation where you've got just a statue back there, in the backfield. So I think that if I'm the Rams, I'm at least exploring my options on what can I do to make sure that I've got, somebody in case he can't go or in case he's ineffective while he's playing.
Jimmy G has taken a good team to a Super Bowl. So maybe he's enough. But he's another guy that gets injured all the time. That's been his problem in his career. This is a really fascinating one because I do think like, you can place them solidly behind the Eagles, sure. But when we're talking about the 49ers, the Lions, the Vikings, whoever else you consider to be true contenders. I know you feel that way about Washington. I don't.
Yeah.
But I'd put the Rams ahead of all of them. And so we'll see. That's the first one, though, I think, of the offseason where we're like, oh, man, this could really like impact the outcome of the season. Whereas like the Chiefs are dealing with all these injury things, and Rashee Rice missed practice yesterday with the groin. Despite all that, like I haven't altered my overall expectations for the Chiefs, like even a centimeter.
Right. I would love to see Kirk Cousins in LA. I think that would be a lot of fun to watch. But I think it's unlikely. I think the more likely name that they could call on to potentially come in and fill in and be that backup and be somebody that could take the helm from Stafford if Stafford can't go is Carson Wentz. And Wentz is out there as a free agent. Nobody signed him yet.
Which surprises me.
Me too. And he's got experience in that system. He was in LA. And I think it was 2023. It was the year before he went to the Chiefs, right? And so he could be there. That'd be an easy signing. You wouldn't have to trade with the team. You wouldn't have to give anything up other than cash. That would be, at least for me, a contingency plan if Stafford can't go.
Yeah, it would make sense. And probably I would guess that the reason Carson Wentz is a free agent is because he knows this league and he can sit back and pick a spot and say, hell yeah, I'd go to LA versus going and signing a deal with, I don't know, the Jets and going into purgatory. Another fun story from yesterday that I saw. Did you see Mike Vrabel got bloodied up, breaking up a fight?
No, I did.
Patriots
I missed
camp.
that.
I guess he jumped in the middle of a scrum and got bloodied, and of course that fires everybody up and is amazing. And look, the Patriots to me, their win. Have you seen their win totals? Their betting odds
very low. Very low.
No, it's very high.
I thought it was very low the last time I looked.
No, it's like 7.5.
Okay.
Like Vegas has them at 8 wins, coming from I think they had 4 a year ago, which I keep thinking is like it's way too high. And then it's Vrabel, who is probably my favorite coach in football. I mean, I can't believe he's not still the coach of Tennessee, all those things. And he lands in this spot. Boy, if Drake May is any good at all, this probably works for them. They've got a couple talented running backs. They added Steph Diggs. Like I don't know, man.
Just so you know, you can't see him because he's off camera. You're giving Max Power a coronary here by talking about
Max
win
knows
total is way too high.
Max knows the total. He and I have talked about this. Like I think their total's too high. However, Vrabel is the man. If Drake May is any good at all, and a lot of people think he is, a lot of people think he isn't, then they're I don't know if they're getting to, the 10 wins or whatever people are putting out. I'm not sure they're talented enough for that yet. But you can see it big picture. Like this is probably going to work.
I think they will
probably going to work.
I think they will be better than expected.
Well, they'll be, but the expected is 7.5 wins. You think they'll win 8 games?
I think they will win like 9 games. I think they'll be, probably, either sneak their way into the wild card or just miss out for this year. And then I think next year, the sky's the limit for Vrabel. The only thing, in my opinion, the only thing standing in their way is that
lack of talent.
No, it's the division. It's the fact that the Bills are in their division and the Bills look to be, just as good as they have been in years past. That's going to be the most difficult thing. But I feel like they are positioned at least to take a big step forward. That's my opinion going into this year.
I mean, the Jets are going to stink. The Dolphins are probably going to stink, at least defensively. You can pile up wins that way. I just don't think the Patriots are overwhelmingly talented yet. Like, who is the best defensive player on the Patriots roster right now?
Gonzo, the cornerback.
Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
But they just don't have much there, though. You know what I mean? Like it's not. They're going to have to overachieve on that side of the ball.
They may not have individual star players necessarily, but Vrabel doesn't necessarily need star players.
Sure.
I mean, look at what he did in Tennessee defensively. They didn't have major star players by and large on that defense, and he always had a really solid
and if they're pretty good, that's one thing. Offensively, it's easier to see, right? They added Diggs. They already have Drake May. They made the investment there. They drafted another running back, Travion Henderson, to go. So I can see it a little bit. But even after that, like, is Demario Douglas their best next pass catching? Like, it's a little, to me, it's still a little bit of a stretch. And I'm such a Vrabel fan, which is why I love this story, because he jumped in the middle of a fight and got bloodied. That's
Vrabel's calling card. Vrabel's calling card. Well, first off, he's a player's coach and he's going to jump in and he's going to be, in the scrum, in the mix and all of that. But number two, it's building a collective defense. Despite major stars, like that's what he does. And I think that's a huge reason why they brought him in, because they knew that they were going to have to build this team through the draft. They were going to have to build up homegrown players, homegrown talent, and that's where the Patriots would get back to where they needed to be. And Vrabel is the guy to do that. And so I don't care necessarily if their biggest name, quote unquote, defensively is Christian Gonzalez, and then there's really nobody else after that. He can build a collective team defense that can be successful.
Yeah. It's going to work long term. Don't get me wrong. If they're a year ahead of schedule, I will not be stunned. I just don't think it's going to happen. I'm a Vrabel guy. He is my favorite coach in football. I'm pretty sure. All right. Mike Parsons, the latest. Jerry Jones said he's built for this. Hasn't talked to his agent or him since the request. Dak Prescott's just kind of giving him a, hey, hang in there, not really taking a side, just that the situation kind of sucks. I'm telling you, he's just going to play out this contract. Everyone keeps saying Dallas is going to cave. I just can't figure out the reason why they would. You know what I mean? Like, why would they cave if
because
they don't?
They usually do. Like they usually do.
Yeah.
There's a precedent for them caving eventually, like talking a really big game, like generating a whole lot of drama.
Where was CeeDee Lamb? CeeDee Lamb was a legit holdout threat, right?
Correct.
The only one they've caved on recently is Dak. Now, they have done deals, but Emmitt Smith's holdout went into the season. You know what I mean?
CeeDee Lamb held out last season, before the season started in the summer, and then they gave him, that 4-year,
so I think that's different.
$136 million deal.
I think that's different than what we're dealing with now. Micah Parsons this is the first year he'll make big money in football. If he holds out, he won't make it. He can't get to free agency. I'm just trying to find the reason Dallas would cave, and I can't find it.
There are a lot of parallels between Lamb's situation and Micah Parsons. The Cowboys didn't have to sign CeeDee Lamb when they did. They could have just exercised their option, and they didn't. They signed him to a deal. It wasn't like CeeDee Lamb was a pending free agent. He could have played on that final year of the contract.
But he was holding out.
He was holding out. But the Cowboys eventually decided to pay him the money he was requesting. He didn't miss any games. They ultimately caved on that.
We'll come back. We'll talk about it when we return. Don't go away. More Sports Daily in another hour.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
This is Rich Eisen. Check out The Rich Eisen Show, 11 until 2 on Wichita's #1 sports station, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
8310 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrock and Tommy Gester.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is another hour of Sports Daily, and we are glad to be with you here on KFH, on 12 News Connected, all the great places that you take in the show. You can leave us video comments, Facebook, YouTube, X. It's all available for you right there, whether you're at the palm of your hand, on maybe your cell phone, all of it. Tim Fitzgerald's going to join us in this hour. We will talk a little K-State football. Tommy, get ready, I guess, for Aer Lingus, which is getting here pretty close. We'll continue the conversations here around the NFL. We'll check in with Chiefs camp as Travis Kelce talked yesterday. It's all what's on tap, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company, featuring free mini homemade root beer floats with any kids meal purchase August 4th through 8th. That means you've got until Friday for a limited supply of WBC keepsake mini mugs that will be given out. Hurry in today, WBC. It's pizza and root beer made here. We are talking about the Micah Parsons' situation, it is, to me, the most interesting thing happening right now in the NFL because you can sort of pick a side on it, right? I don't think there's a consensus on this one. So we'll continue that conversation here. And then I think that gets us through the main NFL training camp headlines of yesterday. Remind me, Tommy, on this. Do you think the Cowboys should do this? I know you think they will. Do you think they should?
Yeah, I think that they should. I think that they should get Micah Parsons signed, get it locked up, if for no other reason than to just like put this to rest and they can focus on the season. It's always boggled my mind that for the Cowboys, they just, and I know it's Jerry Jones and he can't get out of his own way, but they love the circus. And I'm like, just play football, play football and let the play on the field do the talking.
So I don't think they should. For the listeners that haven't heard our conversations on this, I do not think they should make Micah Parsons a $45 million defensive end. I don't think it's the best thing for this team. It's nothing against him. Do I think he should be the highest paid defensive end? Sure. I just don't think it should be for the Cowboys. I think it should be for somebody else. Dallas is not going to win or lose a Super Bowl, in my opinion, because of Micah Parsons. They need to be much better all over the defense, and they need, like, Dak's going to have to be great. So I went back and I looked, and CeeDee Lamb's situation was pretty much the same. He was holding out instead of his fifth-year option. Now, that never bled into the point where it was really going to cost him a lot of money. But he basically decided not to play fifth-year option. Now, he was making significantly less, about not quite, it was about 40% less than Micah Parsons would make this year on his fifth-year option. So that's something to consider. But it was a bold move by CeeDee Lamb that played out. And I think until Micah Parsons leaves the field, the Cowboys aren't going to do it. The question becomes if he did, and maybe, this is where you'd have to leave it to him to kind of determine that. But if he holds out, what the risk if you're Parsons is you're walking away from $25 million. You're walking away from hitting free agency. I don't think it's as urgent as CeeDee Lamb was at the time. I think they made their bed with Dak Prescott, and that's what made CeeDee Lamb a necessity. I also think the league is more catered to the wide receiver right now. $45 million to one guy in one spot. I just don't think that's the best use of the money. I just don't.
I feel like they absolutely have to have him defensively. And the reason I say that is because really outside of him, I mean, he's obviously the most premier guy on that defense. They've got Diggs and they've got, a few other, players, but it's Micah Parsons' defense. If you're committing all of this money for Dak Prescott and you're committing all of this money for CeeDee Lamb, then you feel like you've got a team right now to win. And if you're going to walk away from Micah Parsons, if you're going to trade him and get draft capital, then I guess in that theory, you're kicking the can down the road and you're going to try to get better in future years. Well, if that's the case, then why did you spend all this money on Dak Prescott for this year? CeeDee Lamb for this year, and go out and acquire George Pickens and all of these different things to win right now, if all you're trying to do is get draft capital for future years with Micah Parsons.
Dak Prescott's only 32 years old. So it's not like the window was closing on the Dak Prescott era. It's just
But you didn't have to sign him when you did. The fact that you're paying him right now for that.
Listen,
the window may be open for a few more years, but it's also open right now.
I cannot believe that deal. Dak was already under a big contract. We'd already done this with Dak, right? They already did all this. The fact that he did it again blows my mind. That was one of the I can't stand the fact that they did that. Don't misunderstand. My point is their defense this year isn't going to be good enough with Micah Parsons on it. So in knowing that and being realistic with that, and I doubt that's the way the Cowboys are thinking, but that's the way I'm thinking about it analytically. If they're not going to be good enough defensively anyway, then having Micah Parsons next year as a $45 million defensive end is not the best thing for the defense. They will be better served to have the draft capital and the money to spread out over a number of players. That's to me, that's the realistic play here. I love Micah Parsons, the player, but he is a defensive end does not cure everything on a defense, whereas a quarterback can kind of cure everything on an offense, right? But a defensive end's not going to do that. So And Brandon says, why double down on a mistake? And I assume Brandon's referring to the Dak Prescott contract.
I think he is. I can answer that. I think you double down on the mistake because otherwise you're admitting that the Dak Prescott contract was a mistake, right? Like,
well, he's saying if they made a mistake signing Dak, why do it again with Micah?
You're admitting then that that's a mistake to sign.
Well,
Dak.
I don't think he's 32 years.
That becomes, in my opinion, that becomes a sunk cost if you move away from Micah Parsons. Like I've said this.
Dak becomes a sunk cost?
For this year, absolutely it does. If you trade him away for future draft picks, Micah Parsons, then this year for Dak Prescott, the contract that you paid him, the money you're paying him, is a sunk cost.
How many wins? What would you put the Cowboys win total at this year, assuming they have Micah Parsons and everybody on board?
11.
What do you think it would be if they didn't have Micah Parsons?
9.
You think he's worth 2 wins?
Sure.
I don't think he's worth 2. I think it'd be more like 1 win directly. But even if that's the case,
do I think they go as far in the playoffs without on a game by game basis without Micah Parsons? No, I don't.
How far do you think they go in the playoffs with Micah Parsons?
With him, I don't think they win the Super Bowl, but I think that they make a run. I mean, I with Micah Parsons, I think that they're talented enough on both sides of the ball that they divisional round maybe.
I think Dak has 1 career playoff win.
Yeah, maybe divisional. A lot of people known too because it's a brand new coach. Like we don't know really anything about Brian Schottenheimer.
But I also honestly, and that's a good point. I feel that way about the defense too. Matt Eberflus as a defensive coordinator has been fantastic in this league. So that's the other thing for me that keeps popping into my head. Like for me, I'd rather just take my chances that he's a better coordinator. And I just want that $45 million to use on 3 or 4 players. That's what it is for me. Like this year, yeah, because there's not a lot of options out there this year, but next year, a contract's going to kill him. Now, here's the other part to yours and other. They have money. They have cap space. That's what the Cowboys are terrible at, right? They're a great drafting team. They're horrible in free agency. So that's there is this part of me that's like, well, if they don't use it on Parsons, they're just going to screw it up wherever they do end up using it.
Yeah.
That's in free agency though. But they are an incredible drafting team. So giving them more high-end draft capital, I do think their best path to a good defense is more draft picks and Eberflus than it is Parsons and no money.
To be completely honest with you, had they not signed Dak and had they not signed CeeDee Lamb, had they not done either one of those things, my opinion may be completely different on whether or not they should cave on Micah Parsons. There's a precedent now where they're paying players and they're giving them contracts and all of that. And before they needed to, and all of that, I think they painted themselves into a corner. And knowing the context of the situation and knowing where they're at right now and the contracts they've already given out and all of that, I think they've painted themselves into a corner. And because of that, they need to go ahead and get this done with Micah Parsons. That's my opinion. Had they not done that with Dak and CeeDee, my opinion may very well have been different. Because I believe that if you don't sign Micah and you ship him off, you're admitting that the Dak Prescott contract was a bad contract. I believe that you are, whether or not you're coming out and saying it, you are basically admitting quietly that the Dak Prescott contract was not a good one. My opinion.
I think because of the Dak Prescott, you can't do it. I kind of think the opposite. They because they did it, they can't afford to do the Micah deal.
But because they did it, they have to go all in and they have to pay everybody else. If you want to win now. If you don't want to win now, if you want to rebuild, if you want to get first round draft picks and build for the future, then you don't give Dak Prescott that deal when you did.
Yeah, it's a mess. And of course it's a mess. It's the Cowboys. It's Jerry Jones. Of course it's a mess. I think he plays out the deal as it stands, unless he wants to take a discount. Look, if he takes a discount, the Cowboys will give it to him, but he doesn't want to do that. All right, we'll come back. What did Travis Kelce have to say from Chiefs camp? We'll check in from St. Joe next.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather. and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
The canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
This is Rich Eisen. Check out The Rich Eisen Show, 11 until 2 on Wichita's #1 sports station, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
8310 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
KFH.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Sports Daily here on KFH. The summer concert series back in Wichita at NAFSCA Park this weekend. Series returns Friday. Monterey Jack live on stage. Gates open at 6:30. Show starts at 8. Enjoy free live music, food trucks, Friday night fun all summer long. You can find the full schedule at kfhradio.com. We come back in, and we are headed up to St. Joe. Let's check in from Chiefs camp, Tommy. Still waiting on official starter reps or anything like that. I think that comes today. Don't hold me to that. Can't remember their training camp schedule, but I think that usually comes today with Andy Reid. Look, it's very likely going to be anybody that's dealing with an injury is not going to play. I'm just going to take a guess here. So we won't see Rashee Rice. We won't see Hollywood Brown. Not sure on Xavier Worthy. So we'll deal with that. And the starters will play like one series, maybe like 4 or 5 snaps, and that'll be it. And then it'll be all backups the rest of the way. That would be my guess. I think the more interesting piece of, because I do think there is one, how many reps does Josh Simmons play? How many reps, who starts at right tackle? What about the defensive rookies? Jalen Royals, is he going to get some? I think those are the things that become more interesting to watch.
And I don't know if you saw this or not, but apparently Rashee Rice had a groin injury and he didn't practice yesterday. And so that's according to ESPN, that he spent the entire time kind of off to the side working with trainers. And apparently it was a groin. Of course, we don't know his status. We don't know what the NFL is going to do. I would imagine that comes sooner rather than later. But that is also something to keep our eyes on, that he was dealing with that. I would imagine, my gut tells me we're not going to see many of those guys at all in this first preseason game, or if we do, it'll be very, very limited.
Yeah, I want to see Simmons play a little bit. I want to see Kingsley Suamataia. I want to see left guard. What does that end up looking like? I want to see Jalen Royals play. I do. I'd like to see all the defensive guys play. I'd be good if they played a half, right? Like the problem defensively is, though, that, man, defenses don't show you anything. So I don't remember how much Spags has these rookies play historically off the top of my head. Like, how much did Trent McDuffie play when he was a rookie? How much did George Karlaftis play when he was a rookie? I don't recall. So I don't know if they get much benefit out of those reps if they're not going to show anything, because Spags is a mad scientist back there. I want to see the young guys play a little bit, because I think the Chiefs are going to maybe need them a little bit more than they thought they would to start the year with all these other injuries and these things that they're dealing with.
Yeah, I don't want to see Karlaftis. I don't want to see.
No, I don't need to see those guys.
Bolton. I don't want to see the guys that just signed contracts with the Chiefs. Like, as far as I'm concerned, wrap them up and get them ready for week number 1. I don't want to see Chris Jones, and I'm sure we won't. But I wouldn't mind getting a good look at Omar Norman-Lott. I wouldn't mind getting a good look at Ashton Gelati. Like those guys, I wouldn't mind, for at least a couple of drives, getting them on the field, getting them some reps, and seeing how that all plays out.
Yeah, get them out there. Get them out there, let them run. Don't you think they're going to need these rookies more than you thought at the beginning of the season?
Oh, for sure. I think that, especially opposite of Chris Jones on the defensive front, that's why I'm really excited, at least through training camp, to hear about the development and the progress of Norman-Lott. He could end up being a very essential piece of this Chiefs defense right away. Kind of the same thing with Gelati. He could come in and be an impact player, even if it's just rotational, and come in and have some good snaps and kind of be that depth piece. I think that could be a big impact too.
I love if everybody's healthy prospects of the Chiefs offense. I think everybody knows that if they listen to this show. But we have to be willing to admit that it's going to probably take a little bit longer than we anticipated because of injuries, because of everything else. And in that circumstance, then probably the defense, maybe they'll need to lean into the defense a little more than we thought they would have to, to start things off. So we'll see. I don't know. The offense, I have more of a recall on with Andy Reid than the defense. And on the offense, usually the first game is a series. The second game has kind of morphed into more of like a quarter now, right? Like a quarter, maybe a quarter and a half. And then the third game they don't play. Right? Then the third game they don't play. He hasn't been.
Usually he doesn't
they
have
shrunk
anybody
it down.
play. Yeah.
So that's what we can expect. I wouldn't expect Andy Reid to do anything different. The only other thing is I cannot imagine Brown or Rice play. Worthy, we'll see, because his is a concussion. I'm not 100% sure on that. So if there's ever a time for Royals to get some run, like you're going to get a series with Mahomes, I hope this forces Royals to play, because there are going to be times. I mean, you can see it from a mile away with Royals. To me, like everything we're hearing, everything we're seeing, like everything that's happening, he is going to be a thing this year. He's going to have to be, but I think that also he can be, based on ability and some of the work he's been doing. He's not going to be a nothing for this team this year. What was he, a 4th round pick? He'll be a factor.
Yeah, I really like his position that he's in right now, because remember, with both Rice and Worthy in previous years, there were tons of expectations on both of their shoulders right out of the gate, because they needed them. They needed them big time, and especially like with Worthy last year when Rice went down with the injury and Brown was injured.
And he wasn't ready, right?
He wasn't. Neither one of those guys were ready at the very beginning of the season. It's a little bit different with Royals, and I know health is a big factor on this, and what ends up happening with Worthy and with Brown, and then Rice's suspension and all of that. But I don't feel like there are these massive expectations on Jalen Royals' shoulders. I don't feel like there's the weight of the world on his shoulders right out of the gate to be this super productive wide receiver. There were moments, I remember this, you and I on this show, in both Rashee Rice's rookie year and Xavier Worthy's rookie year, we're having conversations about, are these guys disappointments because they're not producing?
Did we have it with Rice? I know we had it with Worthy.
Like early on in their rookie season, and it's like, just wait. Like, it takes a while for them to come around as rookies in Andy Reid's system.
We had it with Hardman. We had it with Sky Moore.
Yep.
We had it with Worthy. I don't remember having it with Rice.
I think we did.
I think expectations for him were a little bit lower for whatever reason, even though he's probably the best. He's probably the best of that group, by the way.
Yeah.
But I think look, Worthy.
I don't feel that way with Royals. I don't feel like he's going to have to have these expectations on his shoulders.
But I think he can. It's like a hunch, maybe. The circumstances right now have created this opportunity for a guy who, 3 or 4 weeks ago, we had almost no expectations for. I don't know that our expectations change because he's a 4th round pick and all these things, but the opportunity's there, and he seems to be maybe a little more ready to seize it. I'm not saying he's going to be more talented or a better receiver than Worthy or Rice. I don't think that's the case. I just think he could get there a little quicker than those guys, and the Chiefs kind of need him to, right? This is an opportunity for him to come in and do something. He does a lot of the same things, according to, and I didn't watch him play a lot in college or anything like that, but when he was drafted, the comps were kind of Worthy and Rice, kind of the same type of, player that can catch it and make something happen after he catches it. So look, it's going to be a lot of Travis Kelce early on. I'm telling you right now, I am going to be all over Kelce props to start the year. All over him. They got to have him right now. He looks like he's ready to be a receiver, all of these things. And for the first couple of weeks, when they're playing really good teams, they're going to have him, because I don't know we don't expect Rice to be there. Who knows about Hollywood Brown and his availability? I think Worthy would be there at that point. Man, I think they're going to, Kelce's going to start this season off with a bang. Just a hunch. Here's what he had to say yesterday. He was asked a couple of things. Look, a lot of it's the same thing he always says. Why is he so animated at camp? Well, because these are the building blocks to a championship. And I agree with him, by the way, but it's kind of rinse, wash, repeat. But he was asked about the Super Bowl last year and if it lingers and how often he thinks about it. And he was like, not at all. Like, that was gone a lot. I think he said something to the effect of, that was gone much sooner than you would think. You believe that? I don't know that I believe that. Look at him. Like, you don't think that's stuck in his head? Mahomes says it all the time. Yeah, we think about it all the time. Kelce's trying to like say, I don't know, we've washed our hands. I doubt it. I think Kelce's thinking about it every day.
I think, I'm sure that he, it gives that motivation. I actually think that for a guy like Travis Kelce, when there is adversity, when things don't go perfectly for him, that's when you want to get out of his way. That's when he's going to be more fired up. And when you're winning a bunch all in a row, like
early this year,
it's like, hey, he can just sort of relax and enjoy it. But I think when things get difficult, that's when the Travis Kelce we know comes out to play. Remember, I'll never forget the Christmas Day game when they lost to the Raiders, and a couple of years ago. And the record wasn't very good, and there were so many questions about whether or not they were good enough, all of that. And he and Mahomes are, he's getting into it with Andy Reid, and he and Mahomes are upset. He's throwing things on the sideline, and I'm like, better watch him. Like, this is where he's going to go off. And then they go and win the Super Bowl that year. Like, that's when Travis Kelce is at his best. And so I actually think that the loss in the Super Bowl to the Eagles might have been the best thing to ever happen to Travis Kelce going into this season, and being able to refocus and be able to, try to get them to where they need to be. I really think that could.
Well, he might have listened. He might have retired.
He might have just rode off into the sunset.
Yeah,
and nobody blamed him for doing that.
I don't totally disagree with that. I think that, the two people that are the most motivated because of a loss are the two most important people, maybe the three: Jones, Kelce, Mahomes, right? Like, they will never have the opportunity to win 3 Super Bowls in a row again, because Kelce's not going to play that long. So I don't think Jones will. Maybe he does. Mahomes will. But collectively, that group is never going to have that opportunity again. And I think that really pisses them off. And yes, them pissed off is the best version of them. I think, Mahomes always finds it internally. He's like Brady that way. Like, he'll always go find it when somebody's sliding him to use it. I don't think a lot of people were actually sliding Mahomes. I think he's reached this status of, like, everyone knows he's the GOAT. Everyone's fine with him not putting up the best numbers for the last couple of years because he just wins all these. But, like, his status in reality is unfazed. Travis Kelce took real heat last year. Travis Kelce those conversations was he's old, he's washed, he's having too much fun with Taylor Swift. Like, that's what he had to hear for an entire season. If you don't think he cares about that or is motivated about that, just look at him. He completely transformed his body. Now, I don't think that's because it wasn't in good shape last year. I don't subscribe to that at all. Not one bit. What I do subscribe to is he's redefining what he's going to be for this team, and he's going to cook. I don't know what kind of numbers. Like, I don't know if I think he'll put up, vintage Kelce numbers over the course of an entire season. I think he will early in the season because he can, and now they need him to. And then they'll start to get all their weapons back, and he can kind of fit more in lately. Man, I'm telling you, I'm all over his props early this season. We're not making any official predictions yet, Tommy. We'll do that closer to the start of the season. Do you have any idea yet where you are leaning on a Chiefs finish this year?
Like, where they in the season, or a win total in the regular season?
No, where they in the season?
I mean, I think they win the Super Bowl. I mean, like, I don't know how you cannot. I don't know how you cannot predict that. I think there are so many different things that can go into play for that. But yeah, I mean,
you can predict it because you can just say the Eagles will win again.
But I've been on the other end of it before, where I've been like, yeah, I have to believe it to see it. I don't think they're gonna make it happen. Like, I can't not pick them. With the way that things have played out. They've ran everything back, and they've gotten better in the areas they've needed to get better at, and they've got added motivation. I mean, I think for me, they're my pick.
That's where I am too. That's where I've been. I'm not going to make it yet because I'm still trying to just like sort through as we get to that point is The margins have been so thin with the Bills and the Ravens especially. What are the chances they do that again? What are the chances Mark Andrews catches a ball? What are the chances Josh Allen makes one more play, even though it hasn't been a Josh Allen issue for the Bills in any of these situations? That's what I'm still trying to work through. Just like what are the probabilities that Mahomes can beat both of them again in a season? I don't think the Chiefs will win as many games in the regular season, although I do think they'll be a better team this year than they were last
I was
year.
about to say that. I think that there's a pretty strong likelihood that they will be a more talented and better team than a year ago, but have a worse regular season record. I think that is absolutely on the table.
I think it is. I think it's true. What does that mean? Well, it means maybe they don't play at home in the postseason. So because the Bills play in a much worse division, the Ravens are, if they have to go to one of those places, and they proved they could do that 2 years ago. I get it. Those are like the last little pieces, but I'm with you. Like, it's staring at us in the face. They ran it back. They almost certainly, I cannot envision, other than injury, a scenario where their offense isn't better this year than it was a year ago. And when they get Rashee Rice back, and if they ever have him all, it's going to be like those kinds of offenses for the Chiefs over the years. The defense, if they are as good or even a little worse, I'm having a hard time not putting them there too. And that seems boring. But man, they're better than they're better than they were a year ago. Tommy, I think they're better than they were 2 years ago. If Kelce's back.
Yeah, I really think that for me, it was solidified with their draft and knowing the way that these rookies have, stepped up and you've got
if Simmons is even any good at all.
You've got yourself a potential, franchise building block at left tackle.
But he doesn't have to be that. He legitimately just has to be as good as Orlando Brown was.
They very well have that. Like that's what makes that draft pick so brilliant for Brett Veach. I mean, they had a phenomenal draft, and at that point, I'm like, I know it's really difficult to put expectations on rookies, and sometimes not the greatest decision to make to put those expectations on them. But I think that was the icing on the cake for me to solidify. Yeah, I think they'll be right back where they were a year ago.
That's where, and I started, when I've gone on the national, that's what I keep telling. I'm like, guys, I don't think people realized until the Super Bowl just how bad their offensive line situation was with pass blocking last year. I really don't think, because they found ways to win those games, that people had a good grasp of that. If Simmons is even a little below average, like that's the bar. He has to, the only bar he needs to pass for them to be better there is like the worst. And he will be, right, if he stays healthy. Now, they did lose Joe Thuney. So they have there's that. But again, as we've talked about, Joe Thuney wasn't even playing left guard most of last season. So did they lose Joe Thuney at left guard? Not really, because he wasn't there anyway. He had to go out to try to solve the problem at left tackle. I'm with you. We'll make those predictions a little closer to the season. But as Kelce talked, it just keeps he's going to be really good this year. We'll come back. We got Tim Fitzgerald joining us next. We'll talk a little K-State when we return.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
The canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
This is Rich Eisen. Check out The Rich Eisen Show, 11 until 2 on Wichita's #1 sports station, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
8310 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
On KFH.
And now, digging deeper with the teams you follow, it's another Sports Daily Insider interview on KFH.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily, and we are joined by our K-State Insider Tim Fitzgerald. Fitz, we are inching closer and closer to football time here. Are you ready for this as we have polls and all the fun things we've got going on?
I think I am. I think I'm finally getting ready for football because we've had a lot of media opportunities in the last few days, and that kind of gets your juices going for football season. And man, I was just realizing that the game is 2 weeks from Saturday.
Yeah, it's coming up quick, and obviously it's a overseas international flight and travel and all the different logistics that go into that. From what you've been able to learn, what does the process look like for the team? What will their practices look like and travel and all of that to get ready for this game?
Yeah, they head over, I believe, Wednesday, arriving at some point early Thursday. Maybe they have a practice on Thursday that we'll have some media access to. What's funny about it is the game's played on grass, but the practice field is not natural. It's artificial, so they got to take both pairs of shoes. But there's not a lot over there other than the game, which is fine. It clears me more time to research pubs of Dublin.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, I'm thinking about a book. It's research. It's research. The pubs of Dublin. The problem with my research is I won't remember it. But
how many days are you gonna be there, Fitz?
We arrive on Monday morning. We leave Sunday and arrive on Monday morning. We got some touristy things on Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, the Wednesday one is a distillery tour, so that's touristy and right in my alley. So yeah, we got to remember to do work. The good news is the times are so different there. I'll be able to do my work in the morning and then post it at basically the same time I do here because I will put things off to the last second. So it's going to work out. It's going to work out well for me. I'm happy. I'm ready to do this, guys. It's my first trip to the homeland, and there's a possibility by game time I'm king of Ireland. But I'm just throwing it out there.
Fitzgerald, are you kidding me?
Right.
Like, you'll be drowning in Guinness and Jameson, right?
I hope so. I mean, look, we've talked a lot about this cancer crap, but if this is how I go, I can live with that. Well, actually, I can't live with that, but yeah, that would be good. How'd he die? The cancer? No, Guinness poisoning. He had way too much Guinness. No one's ever died that way, but he outdid the Irishman. It'd be a great gravestone.
You may run into, long lost cousins that have the Fitzgerald name, and
yep.
Yeah,
my fear is
family reunion.
My fear is to run into the Irish version of me. Yeah, I don't think any of us want that. But here's what's interesting, though, is I considered going to the South because that's where my ancestors are. But we literally can't trace our heritage because there were so many James Fitzgerald that left Southern Ireland at the same time. We have no idea which was ours. So it's a little sticky. I'm sure the Irish could figure it out, but that would take time on my part and less time in the pubs. So see the quandary right there.
Yeah, no, that priorities seem accurate to me. Tim Fitzgerald, publisher, GoPowerCat.com. We get our first poll. It is the coaches poll, and K-State comes in at 20. Arizona State, the highest-ranked Big 12 team, at 11. That's fair. Iowa State's at 21. Texas Tech's at 24. BYU's at 23. Kansas is getting votes. This is pretty normal looking for the Big 12 in a top 25 poll, right? A bunch of teams in the bottom half because nobody ever knows what to do with them. But I think the nation's paying attention to Kansas State, and that 20 ranking is about it's a good spot for them to start.
Yeah, and this will be a matchup of ranked teams over in Ireland. And I don't think they've had that before. So this is a significant game for the season. It's odd to have this game, the first game of the season, literally for everyone, to be this important maybe to a conference race. But this could decide winner into the Big 12 championship by season's end and loser out. So there's a lot of stakes on the table here.
My question with Avery Johnson, we've talked about him obviously at length throughout the offseason, is not about necessarily his talent level and how dynamic he is and athleticism and all of that. But I'm sure that a huge focus for him in this next year at Kansas State is decision-making, is maturing, is limiting interceptions and that sort of thing. If he can do that, I mean, he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the nation if he's able to combine the sheer talent that he has with really solid decision making, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up because that was my topic of my daily delivery video on YouTube and over at Go Powercat today was Avery 2.0 and his level of self-awareness. There's about 45 seconds in the middle of that video of him talking about everything he did wrong last year. And it is a moment of self-reflection that shows why I think Avery's going to be a great quarterback because he has this awareness of basically everything people complained about, fans complained about, Avery's aware of, and he knows, and he takes ownership. Does he blame drop passes, miss blocks, wrong routes? None of that. It's all about him and how he needs to get better at doing his job, and that's the kind of leader he is. And I thought his answer was it was a deep reflection, and I thought it was really good.
Another guy that we've talked about, and I want to bring this up to you and see what you think. So Dylan Edwards is a bit of a wild card. I am degenerate enough to have joined for the first time a fantasy college football league. Never done it before, but the reason I bring it up that's so interesting is on like the player rankings that it's more than I can handle. Dylan Edwards is like top 10, top 5 some places. And I'm trying to figure out why that would be. I think that the prognosticators saw the bowl game and sort of project that kind of production out versus, and obviously there's bigger opportunity with DJ Giddens gone, but do you think the workload in the bowl game is sustainable? How close to that do you think most games will be for him, just as far as opportunities?
Yeah, I think coming out of it healthy every week probably isn't. But I'm not a fantasy football guy. I focus my fantasies elsewhere. That's another topic. And I think his ability to run, receive, and return leads to that high ranking that he could pile up, a lot of fantasy points. And look, we talked to Coach Katzen, the special teams coach, and he's not sure how much he's going to have Dylan because he is the starting running back.
I wouldn't use it much.
Yeah, and I think they'll just use him in precise need-filled situations, unless in punt return Sterling Lockett proves to be a big threat, and that'll take Dylan off the hook totally. So that's who I think will be returning punts. We'll see how this all plays out, but the key to all of this is Dylan and Avery and some of these key players staying relatively healthy because you can't replicate particularly Avery Johnson, but Dylan Edwards to a degree. They might have some young guys that can do the same things, but we saw in the bowl game how good this entire group, including backup running back Joe Jackson, who's apparently had a good camp, how dangerous the whole group of offensive skill position talent, how they can really rack it up if they get going. And I think they learned a lot about play calling in that bowl game, what the team's really comfortable with too.
It's extremely hard to predict the success level of freshmen coming in, but how much of an impact right away do you think a guy like Lincoln Cure can have as a freshman at tight end?
In some ways, I think it's limited because the room is so crowded. It's a really good room. They returned 4 guys who scored touchdowns last year, and he's the 5th. But another factor is he stayed in high school, which I support through prom and more importantly in this case, track season, so he could set that state record. And so he's kind of a little bit behind in his growth, but everything I'm hearing is he is all in and he is learning very quickly. And his talent is obvious on the practice field to the coaches. I mean, his athletic ability is off the charts for a guy his size. And I think they're going to have to find ways to use him. And if that means designing specific schemes with him on the field, which I think they will do early in the season, then that's what they need to do. I'm very interested to see how much he plays in Dublin, how much they have installed for him or trust him or that he's absorbed enough of the offense. And that'll be really telling, I think, for the rest of the year.
Tim Fitzgerald, we've got 2 more Saturdays that we will not have college football, and then it's Dublin. What do you guys have going for us at Go PowerCat to get ready?
A podcast drops at 10 a.m. on YouTube. It'll pop up on after it premieres over on YouTube at 11 a.m. at Go PowerCat. And yeah, we've had a ton of coverage in the last week or so. Bunch of interviews of players and Coach Van Malone up on our YouTube site right now. But more importantly, my guys are doing some really cool stuff, coverage this year at Go PowerCat. We got a great group of young guys that are going to be helping us out. And we're at 50% off right now. All 24/7 sites are. If you're a KU fan, you can get the same deal, 50% off an annual subscription right now at Go PowerCat and all 24/7 sites.
That's a pretty good timing as the season's about to get started. Fitz, we appreciate it. We'll talk again next week.
Thank you, boys.
There's Tim Fitzgerald, publisher, GoPowerCat.com. I'm fascinated by this Dylan Edwards thing, Tommy. Dylan Edwards is as big or in, he's larger than Deuce Vaughn was. And I wish, and maybe we'll talk to Fitz about this next week. Like, what was the plan with Deuce Vaughn in the beginning, right? Like, did they ever envision him taking that? Because if Dylan Edwards can handle the workload based on all the things we know about him, what is the ceiling for him? I think it's high. I just don't know that anybody's ever envisioned him getting that kind of workload.
Yeah, I mean, going back to Deuce Vaughn, I mean, I remember he was really highly regarded coming in. Like,
Sure.
I'm pretty sure he was a starter as a freshman, I believe. Like, pretty early on, he had that starting role, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a little bit different than.
But what was their plan with him, I think, is what I'm more curious about, right? Did they see him and his size? Because that's all it ever is with Dylan, is like, oh, he's probably too small to handle a DJ Giddens workload. But K-State's the school that's done that historically. He did. He had his freshman year, he had 123 carries, and then it jumped pretty high in his next 2 years. We'll come back. We'll wrap up Sports Daily. Don't go away.